People come from all walks of life. They all have lives they lead. Any and all are welcome here to come and chat with me.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Today's guest is not only is a business owner, he's also a debate coach, which is something I don't think I've ever met anyone who did that. I'm anxious to find out more. Ladies and gentlemen, Josue Anderson. Josue, did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yeah, you got it just right, Nancy. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm delighted to be here.
Oh, I'm so pleased you were able to make it. I just want to ask you, if you don't mind, you told me that your name is Mexican. Is that correct?
Well, it's a Spanish name, but yes, I'm from Mexico. Yeah.
Are you from Mexico?
Yeah, I was born in Mexico. My mother met my stepfather in Mexico. My father is a Canadian, took us up here to Canada, to a small town in the Rocky Mountains of Invermere, super small town. And then I've been a BC boy ever since. So I think that move happened when I was about 4, maybe 5.
Ah, very good. Well, welcome to Canada. Just thought I'd throw that in. No, I know.
Pretty familiar at this point, yeah.
Yeah. I know you have a business called the Husk on Wellington here in Chilliwack. So,
yeah, right in the downtown core.
Yeah, which is really great. What is the Husk? What happens there?
So it's fundamentally a co-work space. We are geared a lot more towards creatives. So more than anything, my wife and I are also both creatives, and we wanted to have a space that we felt comfortable in that encouraged and motivated us to do our types of work. She's a tactile artist. She's mostly a painter these days. I'm a writer myself, and those are the types of works where we're very passionate about shifting our lives into. And so the Husk kind of came from the idea that we wanted our own space outside of the comfort of our own private home to get some of that work done, because we worked a lot better when we weren't in our home setting. I think a lot of people can relate to that. So the Husk is set up for that type of work. So we opened it up to the community to join us, to get into flow in whatever projects that they're in. And that's the purpose of the Husk. We also have a beautiful downtown space with ample display room. So it's a great space for artists to have the opportunity to have a great space to showcase their art into the Chilliwack community.
Yeah, because I know when I was there, you showed me that your front window, like artists could display their work in the window, right?
Yep, exactly. Very affordable rent, as little as $10 a month up to maybe 40 or $50 a month, depending on the type of art you're displaying, the size of it, how much display real estate it takes up.
Very good. Yeah, very good. Now tell me about being a debate coach. How does one become a debate coach?
Yeah, it's kind of a made up thing, to be fair. But basically, in university, I was very involved in the debate and speech program out of UBC. And one thing that we did was high school outreach. So most high schools, or at least a lot of high schools, have their own kind of debate or speaking competition-based after-school program. So what we would do from UBC is lots of us would volunteer as debate instructors. So often these are teacher-based initiatives. A teacher would sponsor the program, but as competitive varsity debaters, we loved teaching smaller kids how to do it. And then from that sprung kind of a career where, in Canada, it's very much seen as quite peripheral, not something to take too seriously as far as funding goes, which is just a real shame. But in Korea, or definitely lots of other parts of Asia as well, China's really been very aggressive with it in the past 10 years as far as taking debate very, very seriously, which has created an immense amount of opportunities to teach it professionally in Korea, in China. So after graduating, I actually went to Korea and taught it for a year. But even here in Canada, before I did that, I had opportunities to teach it professionally. So Canadian students, but also mostly to Korean students who happen to be living in Canada. So it's a great program.
Right. It reminded me that when my son was a teenager, he and I used to have these debates, and we'd get a little heated sometimes, but we would. It was so fabulous to listen to. I would present my side, he would present his side, and his dad would think we were fighting, so we'd come in and we'd both tell him to leave us alone, But if I would encourage everybody or anybody, try it out and contact you, because it is absolutely fabulous. And sometimes you get to persuade somebody on your point of view, right?
Yeah, that's the spirit of it. I haven't taught debate professionally in, I think, 2 years now.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 3, but that is my background. So I did it all through university
Ah,
for a few years after that. I did go back to it for a few years. There was like a 3 or 4 year gap in the middle where I didn't do anything, but I was kind of called back into it because I love it. It's definitely a passion of mine. It's something that I love doing. But now I'm mostly focused on my other businesses, as well as the Husk is the big thing, and my writing. So those are the. But that being said, if someone really wants some help with
okay.
debating, for sure, call me. Why not? I'm happy to help.
I didn't realize you weren't doing that now. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, it's still my email. Like I refuse to
yeah.
change my email. So a part of me will always be a debate instructor. But to speak to the point, I mean, I love talking about debate. And you're absolutely right. I always like to compare it to the difference between boxing and just getting into bar fights. One is a serious, calculated sport. It is an exercise to expand human potential. The other is just being rowdy and liking to hit people. That's the difference between being argumentative and spatting with people and just being abrasive and opinionated, and taking the art of argumentation and debating and trying to, like you said, persuading someone of your side seriously. Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about your 2 other interests or businesses. You do podcasts, correct?
Yeah. I have the Chill versus Whack podcast, which is just a ton of fun. I've been having a lot of fun changing the iteration of what it is and how it works, but the journey's been a ton of fun. So I had a great time interviewing lots of the school board trustee candidates leading up to the by-election. Lots of people watched those interviews. That was really great. Now the podcast is mostly gearing away from the conventional interview style, like this, towards more news commentary, where I bring on a bunch of different perspectives and we all chat and discuss and sometimes argue about different news pieces that are happening in the world.
Oh,
So that's been a lot of
fabulous.
fun. Yeah.
Fabulous. I'm just realizing, when you talked about interviewing people that when they were running for school trustee, that's how I got to know who you were, through that, because I'm friends with Karen Vondar.
Oh, there you are. Yep.
Yeah.
Karen Bonder's fantastic. Obviously,
Yeah.
she won. I'm personally quite thrilled about that. I think she was the best candidate, in my opinion. So I think she's already doing great work on the board.
Yeah, great. Now tell me about your writing. What kind of writing do you do?
I am, I'm trying to get into screenwriting. So I'm trying to work on some screenplays right now for film adaptation. The medium is fantastic, very different from conventional novelization type writing. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a creative writer, so I have a lot of ideas for different types of not only screenplays, but maybe some novels that I'm working on as well. Mostly fantasy, if not, I wouldn't say high fantasy, but I would say very abstract. So definitely fantasy and fiction based per se. Yeah.
But what do you mean by abstract? I don't understand.
Well, the big work that fair enough. That's such a weird thing to say. The big work that I'm working on right now, it almost feels like a hybrid between historical fiction and science fiction, because it plays with the notion of a totally different world that is like ours. But the big pivot point is that it's a world set without any successful European colonization, where native indigenous communities within all of the Americas were successful at evading colonization. And so my big work that I'm working on right now is very much set in that world. Specifically, it's set in the 18th century in this world, built on facts that, where the difference of history happened 400 years after this. So it's 500 years from our point of frame had the big event, but the story is set place 100 years in the past or 150 years in our past. So I feel that's, a little bit abstract.
You sound very much like a lot of creative people that I met, that you do so many different things, it's like
yeah. My wife is the queen of it. Yeah.
There's always another project, right? That just going in your head, right?
Yeah, it's a great departure from traditional types of business models that I've been participating in. So it's just a great relief to be able to feel more free and just to pursue passions and those types of outlets. So yeah, for sure, I'm always involved in a bunch of different projects. And even now, I have 2 other story ideas that I'm kind of passively nurturing while I'm working on the big screenplay. So you're not wrong, Nancy. You're not wrong. That seems like a fair assessment.
But it happens. Creative people are like that. I meet them all the time, and that's the thing I hear the most is how many different things that you enjoy doing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's
It's such an
fabulous.
important thing too. I think we are growing outside of a society that dictated that you have to tangibly contribute financially to the structure of the society. And our identities have been built upon that. I mean, for me personally, for years, my identity was built upon what I did for a living.
Right.
And a lot of people, I think, can sympathize with that. But now we, in many ways, are freeing ourselves from that notion and that narrative of what it means to be a person of value in society. And I think deep down, all of us have the desire and the ability to contribute to our own growth and to other people's lives beneficially, just with our creativity, just with the stories we tell, with the things that we create. I think that's a very human thing that should be nurtured. And I think it's probably the pathway forward in terms of redefining what it means to operate within the society, to be a person in a community. So the Husk is all about that, to explore different outlets and different things you want to do with your time.
Do you think the COVID has helped some of those people reinvent themselves, or what am I trying to say? Be unconventional in what they would normally do?
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. I think it's been such a disruptive force, such a aggressively demanding shift in our lifestyles. Doesn't matter who you are, what you've been doing, that it's given us the opportunity, I think, on an individual as well as hopefully a societal level, to reimagine what we want to be doing with ourselves. Because life is super short. That's the one thing that COVID has taught us, is that life is short. Many of us have lost loved ones from this. All of us have lost what will be a full year and a half of our lives. And we just don't get that back. That's a year and a half closer to the grave. And COVID has made us assess that, like, oh, wow, yeah, we're truly mortals. What do we want to do with ourselves? What do we want to do with our time? It's so limited. Let's do beautiful, disruptive, innovative things. I think creativity is the heart of that.
And I think one of the worst things at the end of your days, like when you're older and maybe you're ill and can't do things, it's like, darn it, I should have done.
Yeah. Yeah. And, it's never too late. So long as you have some will, there's always the opportunity to just do something and then grow from that. And it's not about making it big and just making money out of it. It has intrinsic value. It's about fulfilling yourself. And a lot of people forget that creative work, unlike conventional work, is intrinsically gratifying. And it would be nice if we redefined work in the mainstream to also be intrinsically gratifying. I think the heart craves meaningful work. We all want to feel useful. We all want to be doing something that is valuable to ourselves and to our community. And so let's focus more on figuring out what that is, and then not worrying so much about whether it makes money in the short term. Because I think long term, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, it's going to be the entire economy. It's going to be everything we do. It's going to define our species. So let's enjoy it now.
For sure. I would encourage everybody, don't live a beige life. That was my biggest fear.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, don't live a beige life.
Don't live a beige life. Yeah. So, well, we're just about out of time, but I just want you to remind everybody where the Husk is and how they can reach you. Okay.
Yeah, we got a pretty great website, thehuskflowcollective.ca. We have a fantastic Facebook page, again, called The Husk. I think it might be Husk Flow Collective, and an Instagram as well. All of them are great ways to reach us. So the best way to reach us is come on down. Everyone walks through the downtown core. We're right in the heart of Central Village. It's a wonderful place to be. Right on the corner of Mill Street and Wellington, so you couldn't get more downtowny than that. Right beside Teddy Bear Dreams, across the way from the Vineyard. So swing on by. We're open every day except for Sundays from 10 to 5. So come on by, say hi.
Yeah, everybody go by, say hi, and check it out. And I think you'll be pleased. For those of you who are looking for a creative space, it's a wonderful spot, as you said. It's really good. Well, thank you, Josue. Just stay on camera for a bit while I say goodbye to everybody.
Sounds
So
great.
everyone, I really hope you enjoyed listening to Josue. I know I did, and I want to talk to him some more. And I hope to see you next time. Until then, everyone, peace out.
a sense of community. Chilliwack's a place to be, a sense of community where you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see.